I know we have enough to get to. Good evening, everyone, and hard to believe we're at our second annual stakeholders meeting of the Fishtown, Kensington Area Business Improvement District. On behalf of the executive staff, Kay Anderson, our Director of Operations, Randy Sherwood, Office Manager / Marketing Expert, and of course our Board of Directors, we want to thank you all for being here tonight, but most importantly, we want to thank all of you for all that you do with us, and for this community. You know, what we're going to talk about tonight is a review of what we've accomplished over the past year, but really more important, it's a testament to the neighborhood. And it's a testament to the business community, our residents, and the people that come here. And we don't take that lightly. We understand, for all of you that have come here, you invested your time, your talent, and your treasure to making this place an extraordinary, thriving commercial corridor. And we have certainly had a lot of curveballs thrown at us over the past 2 years. You know, Kay and I joke, you know, a bid starts, we take a new job in January, the world shuts down a month later. But through all of that, you all rose, we all rose together, and we managed to not just navigate the obstacles that came in our way, but we plowed right through them, and we found new and better ways to grow together. And as we sit here today on January 20th of 2022, we're looking at what I believe, and I think you'll hear tonight, is a very healthy commercial corridor. Now, not without its issues that we need to tackle, not without concerns that we need to address and be better, but showing that through it all, through interaction, through our engagement, through our resources, the Fishtown, Kensington area has still become a place where people want to live, shop, work, play. And as you're going to hear tonight, that's with all of the new businesses that have been coming here, even during the pandemic, and all of the new mixed use development that is coming here that went through a process of, you know, we have several of our developers on the phone on this call. They don't just come and put a brick and mortar. They want to become part of the community, and they are setting something there to meet the density demands that we are now facing. And our job as a bid, and our job together is how do we make all of this work and allow us to flourish and have planning both in the short term and the long term to bring this to fruition. We want to be talking not just next year and the following year, but for decades to come, how this area is the envy of the region. Just as an aside, to kind of tout ourselves, to kind of prove that point, you'll be seeing an article in the Philadelphia Business Journal shortly where they're going to be highlighting our district. And the reporter was very direct with me, like, you know, in a time where other areas are suffering as far as not necessarily decay, but for businesses closing and things like that, that's not happening here. And she asked, why is that? And as much as I wanted to, you know, talk up the staff, which I did, it's really a testament to all of you. It's your vision, it's your actions, it's your energy that bring it tonight. So tonight we're going to talk a little bit about that. And before we get through it, I always, as for those that have gotten our annual report, and we're going to pull it up shortly, I always have the adage, why say something in one sentence when I can say it in 7? And why not use a quote when it fits? And I think the quote that really is a testament to this district, and I always think of it, especially during the tough times, was from Shawshank Redemption. I'm a movie guy. And the quote is, hope is a good thing, maybe the best of things, and no good thing ever dies. And I truly believe that of this district, and I believe that only the brightness comes in front of us. So real fast, I just want to say we have a new chairman of our board, Josh Olivo. Josh, if you just want to say hello real fast.
Hey, Mark. Yeah, sure. Thanks.
You don't have to give a speech. Don't worry.
Okay. So, okay. No worries. Hello, everyone.
And he is that chatty. Get to know him. Before we get started, I do want to make sure, because none of this happens without the great staff that I have, and we have, you know, we work together So many of you knew even before the bid was founded, our Director of Operations, Kay Anderson. You know her, you love her, you can't live without her. Kay, you want to say a quick hello?
Hey, everyone. Good to see you all.
And lastly, Randy, you want to say hi? It's like an Academy Award presentation tonight.
Hey, everyone.
So with that, one of the things that we really wanted to focus on with all of you is how we've pivoted through the past year. When we talk about growth, you know, we've had either committed or now opened 30 new businesses since this pandemic started. And we have places that are nationally known, nationally renowned, Izakaya by Yanaga, Other Half Brewing, Middle Child Clubhouse, Jenny's Ice Cream, Kismet Bagels, Bagels and Company is coming, The Finn, Source Brewing, Brooklyn Bowl, LMNO, Van Leeuwen Ice Cream, and Brewery ARS, just to name a few. That shows the attractiveness of what we're doing. So, Randy, you want to pull up the newsletter so we can kind of lead everybody through it? Or I'm sorry, annual report, forgive me. So you see my my ugly mug there without the Fonzie collar. But one of the big priorities, I think, for any commercial corridor in any thriving neighborhood is cleaning, greening, and maintaining a safe place for people to be, live, shop, work, and play. So one of the first things we've done and we continue to do is dedicate ourselves to the cleanliness of this corridor. We are proud that for the second year in a row, we were awarded the City of Philadelphia's TCB, Taking Care of Business, Clean Corridors Program grant in the amount of $75,000, which was just to focus on areas around Front and Girard. That grant, what that allows us to do is that allows us to implement more of the money that comes into the bid towards the cleaning of other areas. When we first started, we had two crews, one with New Kensington Community Development Corporation, and then with Ready, Willing, and Able. As New Kensington has moved further north, we've put everything into one crew, all of our routes into one crew, and we're going to talk about how we're expanding that. So you probably have seen at some point in the morning our crew in blue. Please say hi. They're going to come see you. They're part of the community. And through the course of the year, they're out 6 days a week, charting out all the areas of our corridor in the morning. And through those efforts, they actually collected and removed litter in over 11,000 trash bags. We want to thank the Fillmore for letting us use their dumpsters to get rid of that. But we always, and what was important with that is, while we've certainly collected a lot of trash, and I think it's made a lot of difference, we also work together with Ready, Willing, and Able to how we can be better. Because I think one of the things we all know in the success that we face and the success we have in having a busy corridor leads to people, leads to more trash. So what we were finding were, while our crews were out and being very vigilant in the morning, during the day, trash accumulates. We've also had issues, whether it be with dumping. Sometimes the City of Philadelphia can't keep up when there are trash bags. So what we decide to do, besides prioritizing routes to focus on the high profile areas, we set up with Ready, Willing, and Able what we call a rapid response team. We launched that at the end of 2021. And with the staff of Ready, Willing, and Able and designated stakeholders at different parts of the corridor, as well as Kay and I's dutiful inspection. She has from Palmer down to Lehigh. I have the other way, where we check during the day. And we have people that report to us, hey, 1300 block needs to be cleared up. And we'll be able to we get on the phone now with Ready, Willing, and Able, and they come and they remove. So we know that as in doing that, this will allow us to better serve you, to better serve our community, and to keep it clean. But we also wanted someone on staff to do that. So we are proud to announce that starting February 1, we've hired a corridor steward through Impact Services. where 2 days a week, an extra 2 afternoons a week, I believe it's 6 hours a day, this individual we have our own disposal vehicle, will not only be patrolling the corridor, looking for trash to be removed, litter to be picked up, debris that has been dumped. They're here to respond to all of your calls. So all you have to do is let us know. We hop on the handy walkie-talkie, which makes me feel like I'm 5 years old again, playing with my brother in his room, and they're going to come over and remove. And as we've shared that with stakeholders, made us feel good to hear that they appreciated that, because in many ways it all starts to end. And as you all know this, how does it look? We know that you all take the time to protect your property, to preserve it, to keep it clean. It's our job to make sure that that investment is protected. And through that, we also found that there's a lot of trash cans on this corridor, many of which were placed here years ago through a program through New Kensington CDC, where the property owners or the business owners at that time were responsible for the removal of the trash therein. Well, it wasn't happening. Businesses change. We also worked with both our new steward and Ready, Willing, and Able. Once a week, they go to check the trash cans to remove the trash, so that we don't have what we had last year with just things being dumped on it and bags of, dog feces or whatever. Again, it's a way to constantly keep up. But there's more. We also know that we need more trash locations. So I want to give a shout out to Kay Anderson. Kay filed and we received a grant from Penn Treaty Special Services District. Thank you, Penn Treaty, for $11,706. We also want to thank our friends at FNA and ACNA for working with it on us, to add 20 new fish head trash cans. Katie, you want to give a quick word about that?
Sure. So we actually just got the 20 fish heads back in from the manufacturer. They're in our office right now. And we also just released a call for art, calling for local artists to design and hopefully paint the trash cans as well. So that is open. You can find it on our website under the news section. Just scroll down there and you will see the call for art. In addition to that, that'll be open for the next 2 weeks. So we encourage early submissions. So please get that back to us as soon as possible. But it will be up there for the next 2 weeks. There you go, Randy. So
Good
go to
job,
Fishtown
Randy.
News. Well, she has to refresh the page, but because I just put it up today,
Awesome.
but it is there.
And the good part also, Kay, is these 20 cans, we already have the locations spoken for. We'll make sure we publish that. So with the cooperation of the property owners who are going to help work with us for removing and preserving them. And as our goal, as we need them, I'm sorry, go ahead, Kay.
No, I was going to say, well, in addition to the new cans that we're installing, we are also in the process of doing a survey for existing public trash cans so that we can make sure that we are covering as many of those as possible and finding who the responsible volunteer can be to service those cans where we're not able to.
And a good portion, and Kay's going to get to that survey in a little later in Kay's corner portion of the evening. But what we've also found through everyone's feedback is we want to make sure that all the areas of our district receive the strong attention that they deserve. So that's why you're going to start to see in the coming year, especially with our corridor steward, we want to make sure East Girard gets the same attention as parts of Frankfurt Avenue does. The same thing with Lehigh, the other part of the corridor, Front Street. So we want to make sure that all is being covered. Before we leave the trash portion, also during the year, proud to say we were awarded a $14,000 blight remediation grant. I'm going to talk a little bit about a specific property that we're working on, but that also allows us to work with setting up a system, which we are doing with a group called Sholey Turco, a nonprofit that deals with vacant properties, so that we can create an inventory of properties that may be vacant, falling apart, so that we can take steps to bring them back to productive use, or if nothing else, just make sure that they are abated, safe, and secure. And as you'll see later, there's one big one we're certainly proud to do. Lastly, with the cleaning topic, we are certainly thrilled. We understand, and my good friend, Mr. Congeniality, Bob Everett, and I were talking about this over the past week, is we have certainly been noticing a larger influx of graffiti over the past few months in the district, and certainly some of them with incendiary language towards the police, and we in no way will ever allow that to exist on any building, any structure, any pole in our corridor. You all invest too much, and we want to preserve those. Same thing also with pole stickers, bandit signs. So we are starting February 1st. We just made the decision, and so today we are bringing in a group called Graffiti Removal Experts. They do a lot of work with the different various commercial corridors throughout the city, including South Street, Center City. They also work with mural arts, and at least once a week for 6 to 8 hours a day, Todd Kelly, who runs the company, and his crew will be patrolling our corridor, looking and removing graffiti, looking for and removing those pole stickers or bandit signs. And this is in addition to responding to our complaints that we find. And this is certainly no criticism of the city. Tom Conway and Clip does a great job. We wanted to make sure that we had someone on hand that again can ensure rapid attention, being proactive in looking for it before, someone reports it to us, and to getting it down. So we'll make sure to make a formal announcement, introduce Todd in our newsletter next week. But we're certainly looking forward to that, because again, that adds to what we're doing here. As we move forward, and Randy, you want to turn the page, it's a perfect segue to bring in on our friends from ISA Architects. During the past year, it was critical for both the staff and the board, and we believe our stakeholders, to how do we plan for the growth and sustained growth of our commercial corridor? How do we bring about the changes we would like to see? And it wasn't just about beautification.
You have 2 slices that you hardly ate.
Let's make sure everybody's on mute. We got it, Rand? Thank you. And we will make sure, and this is, forgive me, but we also want to stress not just beauty, lighting. How do we do things that both bring out the personalities of not just different parts of the corridor, but different intersections? And most importantly, how do we enhance accessibility and connectivity to and from this neighborhood, not just to the river, but beyond? Through a great extensive process, we brought on Brian and Deb from ISA Architects. They are awesome. They are passionate. They are talented. And during the course of the year, we had several working groups where we brought together not just all of you, but municipal departments, elected officials, PennDOT, SEPTA, Otis, Streets, the Planning Commission, to get good input on how we can proceed. And we are proud to say that ISA didn't let us down. So I wanted to give Brian and Deb an opportunity, and Matt, don't forget Matt Mayberry, to talk a little bit, give you an overview of the plan, and then I can talk about what's coming. So Brian, the floor is all yours.
Great, thanks, Mark. Do you want me to share my screen, or just sort of
Yes,
talk to
that'd
this
be great.
newsletter? Okay, great. Looks like you're gonna have to allow me to share.
You should be good now.
Great. Yeah. Great, thanks. I'll just apologize to some of you guys for, I think there's a couple familiar faces here that have probably seen me talk about this a few times, but I think there's also some people we haven't had a chance to talk to. So it's nice to be able to share kind of where we are with the group. We were really excited to be approached for this project, as we've had our business in the Kensington Fishtown area for about 20 years, and spend a lot of time here and really in a lot of ways credit the environment for the kind of, creative community that allows a business like ours to sort of thrive and be successful, so it's really, in a way, I think a kind of giving back for us to really sort of bring some energy, to this. And so just real quickly, you see a couple of maps here, the one on the left, sort of the corridors as kind of defined, by the bid, and becoming very interested in some of the shapes and some of the nonlinear sorts of relationships that emerged, like intersections, as Mark had mentioned, and also what we've, I think, affectionately called the bow tie, which is where all these streets get so close. There's this incredible density of activity, and really starting to not just treat this as a grid, which Philadelphia is so known for, but really a fun and sometimes disorienting, collection of streets and blocks. So through that process, and I don't want to get kind of too far into it, we were led. I think the idea of corridors led us to this idea of intersections when you think about the way the neighborhood is, arranged, and we had a lot of fun kind of cataloging all of the different shapes and incredible 4, 5, 6 street intersections that make up the neighborhood. And it's really interesting. You can see in this diagram to the left how a lot of those are the intersections that are often defining Front and Frankfurt and Girard. So we thought there was a nice interaction between this idea of the corridor and the intersection, which really led us to this plan, which was intentionally meant to be a loose system, not overly sort of directive about exactly what needs to happen. We think the creative and retail and kind of social network of the neighborhood really is about innovation and creativity, maybe the unexpected. And so we wanted to develop a kind of plan that would really embrace that and allow for those kinds of things to be a part of it. So we kind of approached it a little bit more as a toolkit with some conditions or ways of sort of finding the kind of appropriate place for things. And so thinking about surfaces, storefronts and art walls, edges, through this idea of, it gives you this sort of list of elements here that range from sort of a way to sort of navigate around kind of construction barriers, this idea of program frames, which might be a sort of light intervention to help with surface lots that meet sidewalks, which should feel a little bit uncomfortable. Objects like kind of pop-up plugins and lighting and seating. So really, many of the things I think we associate with the work of the bid as kind of becoming a bit of a kind of system of thinking. And then this is actually not an intersection that exists anywhere in Philadelphia, but it's an imaginary place that has many of the components of that, right? So we just wanted to sort of demonstrate how these things come together. So you can see this idea of a kind of intersection icon that can be used to sort of brand it. You see some frames here along this sort of food truck on this open parking lot that helps to kind of create an urban edge. Some enhanced pedestrian crossing graphics. So just beginning to kind of test and illustrate ways that these components can configure. And then you can see that so all of these intersections, these believe it or not, are all the intersection shapes along the corridors, which are really kind of exciting and iconic. And then we selected 3 what I would call, I think, pilot sort of intersection projects: Front and Girard, Front and Cecil B. Moore, Frankfurt and Lehigh, which in a way represent the kind of endpoints of the bid with kind of the middle. And the idea is that these can be kind of worked on through time and kind of selected kind of as we go. And I'll just sort of quickly here sort of show how for each of these intersections, we had a couple working sessions with the local businesses and stakeholders of the board to think about what the elements are. And at sort of Front and Girard, there's a signage component. We actually just had a meeting recently with SEPTA to think about some of these kiosks that we think of as occupying the corner with a pop-up program. And then you can see here's the Frankfurt and Lehigh intersection. That kind of gas station canopy probably rings a bell. And beginning to think about how to complicated intersection up there with the co-op and a lot of new developments. So really thinking about how we can begin to make it a more pedestrian friendly place. And then lastly, front and Cecil B. Moore. You can see the International Bar to the left and the old firehouse to the front. And really beginning to, I think the other thing that's interesting about the work is while the pandemic was going on, I think it began to indicate, you know, with the movement toward the streetery and some of the tactical occupation of outdoor space, that really has dovetailed nicely with this approach to invigorating, you know, street life through the use of art and existing business programming. Mark, I don't know if you want to talk a little bit about what's been happening with the front and Gillette intersection.
Sure. And again, Brian, thank you for everything and the great work you've done. And just to let everyone know, I didn't say this in the beginning, we're going to go through the presentation and then take questions at the end. So certainly make a note to yourself if you have any. We'll certainly call on you at that time. So as we have these plans, and one of the things we really loved, not just with the street activation and intersection activation, was even with the intersections, taking those symbols as representatives of the personality of those intersections and being able to paint them in the road or use them for directional signage in some way. That really gives an opportunity just to make this area kind of pop a little bit, but also be practical. So now we are in the phase of, okay, well, the design is good. We want to make sure I know we've reached out a few times to our community groups. We wanted to bring it to them again. So hopefully they'll take us up on that. But also now it's time to activate. So we will be looking this year probably at 2 of them, pulling together the funding and planning. In fact, Front and Girard brings with us, I think, our one of our best opportunities being the transportation hub. That is, thousands of people come through there every day. And how do we use that so that we, you know, at the end of the day, we keep people moving, we keep people going to all areas of our corridor, but also not just beautify the space, but actually do something practical with it. So as you'll see where, you know, the big word says front, and then below that, there are kiosks that we can use for an assortment of things, whether it's for Fishtown ambassadors, people to greet you, to help you, be eyes and ears on the street, pop-up vendors, even opportunities for new businesses who aren't sure, give them a chance to do something. And this will coincide, which we are very proud about. SEPTA has committed, while we are doing our work, to performing extensive renovations at the stop as well, which you'll start to see in 2022. So the area will be repainted where the L stop is in July. They're going to be working on the entrance and exit of the north side to make it more secure. They're going to take away the benches on both sides. So again, the thought is we want people to keep moving and not a place to congregate. And then the bid is going to be following multimodal grants with our own matching funds to perform the portions of this work that you see in the plan, both with directional signage, with the kiosks, with art, with additional lighting. And we're talking about art-type lighting to add to the ambiance of the area, but it also adds to safety of the area. So our goal is, you know, you're going to see work being done to improve this very busy hub, in many ways the gateway to our corridor, by summer of 2022 on. While we are doing that, we're about to file a local share account grant. Brian, if you can go, or Matt, you can go to the Cecil B. Moore portion. We're going to be filing a grant to activate that portion of the area. So that will allow for more walkable space, actually kind of, you know, closing off part of the road. We're working with streets right now to do that, especially with the development that is coming, exciting new development that's coming at the 1700 block of North Front. This is a great way to have a community activated, safe space. And certainly we have the wonderful International right there. We're going to have greening and all of these wonderful things with lighting, with signage, and we think some bike racks as well, which we'll get to. So we'll be filing that by the 31st. And then obviously the goal after that is to, last but not least, and certainly we're not prioritizing in any way of importance the Frankfurt and Lehigh design. Right now, we are in communication with both Streets and PennDOT for planned renovations that they are doing down in that area. Brian or Matt, can you pull that portion up? There you go. So that we will try to do our work in conjunction with when that comes. We want to make sure the inconvenience to our travelers, to our residents, to our workers is as minimal as possible. So we're going to hopefully get guidance on that from the streets department shortly. Right now, they're still completing surveys of how best to do it because they're going to be doing a bunch of work on Lehigh Avenue as well. And then we expect sometime in late 2022, early 2023, that portion will be activated. So what that does is we think a couple things. It is taking the personality of our corridor and bringing about positive changes that accentuate that, while also forming utility, forming beauty, and actually helping with travel and visual aspects and safety. Again, we will be bringing out this again to other community groups, so hopefully they'll take us up, because we want to make sure, even though we had a bunch of working groups, if you were not part of it, we certainly want to hear from you, because that's how we always get the best ideas. Certainly feel free to reach out to me directly. That's Mark, M-A-R-C, at fishtownbid.org. Thank you, Brian, Matt. I know Deb may not be on there for all your hard work on this. We're really very excited about what's to come this year and beyond. Rand, you can go back to the Brian, do you have anything you want to add, or Matt?
I think. Sorry, that was my bad. No, I think that's great. We've been really enjoying the process, and again, it is sort of, I think we do think of it as a living document, meaning it is meant to accommodate flexibility and other ideas. So we look forward to adapting it to different intersections and to different interests for each of these different important neighborhood nodes.
Thank you, Brian. Thanks for the great work. Rand, before we do that, I don't want to hold everybody up. As we're talking about cleaning, security is certainly one of the issues that we are going to be focusing on moving forward. And I wanted to let Mr. Congeniality, Sergeant Massey, comment on something real fast. Because, ultimately our job is to keep you clean and safe. And certainly we are lucky to have such dedicated officers here. They're certainly right now understaffed. So what we can do as a corridor is very important. First off, we just filed, I'm happy to say I just filed it a couple of days ago, a grant using the City of Philadelphia's Business Security Camera Program, where we will be installing security cameras at designated intersections that have also license plate capability. And the goal is to not just, and we're going to add signs in the windows saying this area is being protected by security footage provided by the Fishtown District. And we're going to be starting at Front and Girard, Frankfurt and Girard, and Frankfurt and Thompson, Shackamaxon. Please note that if your intersection is not there, we will be adding on to it each year. So we're going to be covering all the areas. And we appreciate all the property owners for allowing us to do that. And what this will do is, we believe will help both in crime prevention as a deterrent, because we're going to be advertising these cameras are there. We also are going to be allowing, why thank you, Randy. We're also going to be making sure that these are linked to the 26th district. So this increases not only response time, but investigation time. And to that end, and what we love about this program from the City of Philadelphia, that they will be reimbursing us for half of the cost to purchase and install these. You also have that ability on your properties, on your businesses, to use this plan. So much so that we decided to have a seminar about it. As you can see, next Tuesday at 6 p.m., we're going to have a business security camera seminar, which is perfect. It segues right into the 7 p.m. FNA safety security meeting. And we're going to be joined by Maxine Ferguson of the Department of Commerce to discuss the program. Hopefully Sergeant Massey or Officer Smith to talk about why they're helpful and proper placement. And we're also finally going to be joined by Dan Wren of Omega Security Systems to really talk about the technology and what is practical and what is useful. So we look forward to doing that. Lastly, we want to create a good checklist. We are starting to compile of our businesses so that we can help in real time get attention to you, whether it's for a break-in, a burglary, graffiti, whatever, to get better response time. So we've set up through, in conjunction with the 26th, a business security contact list. John, if you want to take a minute or two to describe why you think this is important, and we'll make sure this is on our website and it's in our weekly newsletter. John, Sergeant Massey.
Or Mark, so I asked that the bid assist us in developing this directory. A lot of times what we find out with property crimes, especially when the stores close overnight, we can't get a hold of a key holder, a manager, or an owner of the building. And if a crime happens, we cannot arrest unless we have a person to prosecute. So in these types of situations where properties against crime, crimes against property, we don't need a formal interview. You don't have to come in to sit with a detective. It's just a quick phone interview, but a requirement from the district attorney's office, because they will decline an arrest. If we can't list somebody to say, I didn't give Mark Colazzo permission to break my window and steal my cash register, I have to have a person. So we more often than ever, we find out it's difficult to ascertain who the owner is, especially with some buildings in this area where it's multi-tenants, and you can't ascertain who the actual victim is of a particular unit or not. Sometimes we find out with some of the businesses, you might have a desk person or a server or an employee that doesn't transfer that message to you. And there's nothing more important to a business owner or manager to let them know that the cops are there asking questions. But a lot of times staff, for various reasons, will not relay a message for us. So we need to have that contact information. We can arrest a person on the site. We can get a hold of you if your property has been broken into. And there's some information that we're asking about alarm systems, security video, and it's to give the bid members a chance to look at their own security measures while they're filling out this questionnaire and say, hey, do I have an alarm system that's linked up? Do I don't? So I gave Mark an example last week. In Northern Liberty's bid, a property was burglarized. It triggered the alarm. The alarm company called 911. Cops responded within less than 2 minutes. They caught the male inside, made an arrest. That prevented further crime, and made the person accountable. And then the alarm company was synced to a key holder, and then we spoke to somebody and we were able to prosecute. So that's how things should work. But half the time they don't work that way. So that's why we need to have a directory like this. Mark mentioned the cameras. I am telling you that 2022 will be worse than 2021 as far as crime numbers. Our staffing is decimated. We are losing cops at a high rate that no one's ever seen. So it's a trend throughout the country, but Philadelphia is really hit hard by it because we cannot hire applicants due to new restrictions placed on us. So we're not filling the vacancies, and it's going to take us several years to recover. But in the meantime, crime, as you see on the news every day, it's running rampant on us. So the directory will help us for crimes against properties, or if you have somebody's carjacked or physically robbed outside your business is closed, we need to look at your cameras or talk to you. We can just look in the directory and contact you via phone or email.
Thank you, Sergeant. And again, we urge everyone to do this. This is a form of the bid we'll share with law enforcement. And it's just a way that we are working together to keep you safe, to protect you, your staff, your families, and your property. And they're all of critical importance to us. And lastly, we are working and we'll be bringing in our friends at FNA and ECNA and South Kent and the other community groups. Is we're going to be developing a district safety plan. And again, I want to thank Sergeant Massey for taking this time. Is we're going to be highlighting in the report the types of crimes that are frequent here, when they occur, what times, etc., and also give recommendations of what you can do to take steps. And also we will see what additional steps that we can take as a district. So we thank the 26th Sergeant Massey for all their help, and we look forward to making sure that we continue to lead the way in how to run and operate a commercial corridor. Thank you, John. Randy, if you go back to the newsletter, that'd be great. I'm sorry, annual report. I'm getting it wrong. If you can go back. So through the year, and we started this even in 2020, we wanted to make sure that we were bringing to you the most current information, current useful information that we can get that was practical for all of you and your businesses. And we started a trend of having virtual seminars, whether it was through the police or with our elected officials or with Lutheran Settlement House, on different things that can help you, whether it's de-escalation, which we'll talk about, of people, how to help those in need, whether they are suffering from mental illness, homelessness. This year, of course, one of the big focuses was vaccinations, getting information about it and access to it. We were thrilled to be able to work with the Department of Health, as well as FEMA, to host a seminar just about, vaccines, getting you the facts about each one and about how to get them. And this was early on when, they weren't easy to get. In fact, we were able to, when, as we'll talk a little bit later, when we had our grand reopening celebration in June, we were able to offer free vaccinations. Actually, not just free vaccinations, free cheesesteaks and ice cream for the first 100 who were vaccinated. But it was very useful information. We also, because we want to make sure that our, whether it's our retail business, an eatery, a tavern, how do you deal with maybe a customer, a patron that might be acting unruly. And we brought in Diana Sorrentino, PhD, who is certified in this area, former service person with the Navy. And we did a luncheon seminar over at Feast Your Eyes Catering, thank you, Skip, where she led through how to act in different situations to de-escalate a situation so that you are protected, that other person is protected, and that your staff is protected and your customers are protected. She was very interesting. We know we got out the video of that if anyone wants to see it. And we will, and as you can see with the business security camera grant, we're going to be continuing those types of things through the course of the year because we want to make sure that we can bring you all together and provide you with useful information. I know we had, which we're going to talk about later, a storefront improvement grant seminar. So can everyone make sure they're muted, please? Thank you. This year was also one of those strange years where we were locked away and then all of a sudden we were given the go-ahead, you're allowed out. And we at the district wanted to do whatever we could to reward all of you and bring you customers and bring people here and allow to enjoy all of you and what the neighborhood has to bring. So as soon as we started back in June, when we got the word, we did a grand reopening celebration where we closed off a portion of Frankfurt Avenue. Fox 29 was there. In fact, they did even a story a day or two later highlighting Elwood Restaurant. We had music, we had crafts, we had, and really the focus was on more than anything else, go into these businesses, visit these businesses. The news was there and we cut a ribbon to officially bring everybody back. And one of the things that really made us proud as a staff were how many people thanked us for doing it and for, could we do it again? So we wanted to make sure in doing it again that we spread the wealth and moved it around during the district. So during the next few months, we did Under the L Bazaars, where we did these great crafts type ideas with different themes right on North Front Street in front of Evil Genius, where again, we had different types of music, different themes, different vendors. And it was great to see all the people out, not just wanting to get a beer or something to eat, they had their strollers with their kids and their dogs, because that's really what this area is about. We also did in that area a Back to the Future Day, where we actually had the original props, DeLorean cars from Back to the Future. That was an exciting day, and again, got us a lot of news exposure. We did a First Friday event down the other end of North Front Street by Philadelphia Barber Co. And again, it was packed. And again, it's so much work, and I want to give Kay all her props on that, because as she will tell you, she's lugging around equipment and I'm watching, supervising, as I call it. But neighbors down that way towards the Fillmore were literally coming over just saying, no one ever does anything here. Thank you for doing this. And it was just, again, it was crafts. It was a photo gallery. We had, certainly spirits and food. We had music. Kay had the movie screen up that had different visuals going on it. And it was just a lot of fun to do, I'm sure. And then we, of course, closed the year with really one of our biggest, which was our Fishtown Freeze and Winter Wonderland. And we thank all of the vendors that had ice sculptures with live carvings and otherwise throughout the district. It was a beautiful, unseasonably warm December day, where the community was just packed with people walking around. And after, what we went through with COVID, that was the most gratifying thing. And then we were able to, at the end, use the outdoor stage at the Fillmore, where we had a live bonfire with the ice sculptures. We had to have been hundreds and hundreds of people come by, see the choir from St. Laurentius do Christmas carols. New Groove Studios did a Christmas concert. And at the end of the day, Bob Kelly from Fox 29 just came by because he heard about it and wanted to check it out. And that was, again, it's to bring people here. Stay tuned for 2022. We will be bringing back the Kensington Derby and Arts Fest. So stay tuned for more information about that. But we like to bring unique, dynamic things that fit the culture of this community. And we thank everyone that was involved in doing that. And if you want to flip to everybody's favorite topic, transportation and parking. Part of what we believe our obligation is as a community organization, a business improvement district, is to deal with issues that we face and try to find practical solutions working together with our elected officials, municipal and state departments, and the community. So in 2021, we decided to look at a situation that has been certainly something that's been looked at for many, many years, and that is with the increased density that we get here and that's coming, the parking situation becomes more and more tedious. And I always say I didn't need a study to tell me that, unfortunately, if people are going out for the evening and they don't get a space in the corridor, they're parking in front of a neighbor's house. Well, we don't want that. We want to encourage turnover. So we had our first transportation seminar back on February 19th, where we had the Parking Authority, Streets Department, Office of Transportation, Infrastructure and Sustainability, PennDOT, Planning, SEPTA, you name it, to talk about all issues that we were facing, especially as we were inching our way, we thought, out of the pandemic. And it was a good way to get feedback. As a result of that meeting, the PPA performed a parking survey that was completed in May. I'm not going to go through all of it again, because I know as we saw, we distributed it, and we also had a meeting about it again on December 14th with all of these players. And we really went through the survey and we talked about different options. And we're talking about areas on East Girard and Frankfurt up until Jefferson Palmer area. And the areas that at the end of the day, after getting feedback and after getting results from a survey that we put together right afterwards to get people's opinions, one of the things really, some of the stats really stood out to us. One of which was over 50% of people that took the survey said that they literally changed plans for the day, for the evening, because of parking or the inability to find it. And that is certainly a concern, I know, for us as a staff and as a board. When you're running a commercial corridor, you want to ensure that you have room for your customers and the customers stay and don't go somewhere else. Because what we have here is no one else has. We want to keep them here. So after a lot of debate and going through that, both the Fishtown bid and the board of the Fishtown neighbors pursued and recommended the second recommendation of the parking authority recommendation, which was 3-hour parking. By the way, we do not care if there's a meter or not. We prefer that there isn't. From 8 a.m. to 2, from 8 a.m. to 2 a.m. unless you had a residential parking permit, in which case you would not have to feed the meter. We believe that though that is not going to solve it all, and there's other things we're going to talk about that we are working on, it is a way to help initiate turnover. We have sent that to the council president's office, and we're going to see, and we're going to continue interaction. It will be, if it's approved, a trial period, an 8-month trial period to see if it works. But right now, we're going to just follow the directions of our elected officials and our other departments to see what we can do. But I wanted to make sure we were up to date, and that, again, we want to thank all of you for participating. This is not an easy topic, but sometimes we can't shy away from those. But we always believe that we have to be in the business of problem solving. And I think we can all agree that leaving the situation as it is, it just doesn't work. But one of the things that we were really struck by during our December 14th meeting and survey and calls afterward was really the calls for pushing bicycle use and how to have better accessibility to that. And as you know, I'm talking to developers all the time with these new buildings that are coming. A lot of these new people that are coming to live here, of cars. They sort of follow the New York model. We have public transportation, we have Uber and Lyft, and they bike. And so we as a staff have been in contact with Indigo Bike Share. As you know, we have a few stations already here. We posted last week, we will again include, they would love to add some new stations, assuming it works, in 2022. Their goal is to add some new ones, and then up until Frankfurt and Palmer area, but then after that, they want to go all the way down. We're going to look at throughout all the way up to Lehigh. Please give us your ideas of where you would like to see the charging stations, the infill stations for Indigo. We also just had a great call with the Clear Air Council. They are actually filing a transportation grant where they will be asking, among other things, for 20 bike racks just for Fishtown, so that we will only have to cover the cost of installation on places that want it, where we get the most use, most practical use. For example, I know John Geeting at FNA asked for one right by the Rose Garden. Perfect. We'd be happy to do that. Again, it's providing our businesses and the people here with alternative modes, which will ultimately ease up car use and traffic and parking issues. And lastly, we're working, Kay and I just had a great call with Kelly Yemen of Otis, Office of Transportation, Infrastructure, and Sustainability. I'll get it out. About looking into different areas here. Obviously, on Frankfurt and Girard, we can't. Frankfurt's too narrow. Girard has because of the trolley issues, but different connecting streets that we can maybe bring some more bike parking to, or bike lanes to. So, but we want your input. None of this will be done without proper engagement with all of you. So please, again, if you've not already done that, sign up on go to fishtowndistrict.com, sign up for our newsletter, and you'll be able to take all of these surveys, answer all these questions and all these seminars that we're going to be doing. And we will also set up one in February after we do a walking tour with both Otis and Indigo about plans moving forward. But it's certainly something we're excited to do. As you move down, one of the things we want to make sure everyone realizes is just what are the core functions of the bid? What do we do? What can we do for you? I'm going to turn this over to what we would call on our Fishtown, Funded in Fishtown radio show, Kay's Corner, to talk about her work. She really works really hard on the storefront improvement as well as other functions. So Kay?
Thanks, Mark. So yeah, what he was talking about, the storefront improvement program, is one of our most popular day-to-day programs that we can offer commercial property owners and business owners alike. This program is done through the Philadelphia Department of Commerce, and it provides up to $10,000 towards the facade of your storefront. So any types of improvements, including brick pointing, exterior painting, replacing windows, including your upstairs windows, new signage, awnings, cornices, lighting, security grates, all of that good stuff. If you have a multi-address property or a corner property, you can also qualify for more money. All of this is 50% of the total cost of the renovation. So if your renovation costs $20,000 total, you can get the full $10,000 back. That program takes about a month to process through and get approval before you can actually start renovations. But we are here to help you through it. We have done numerous, as you can see, storefront improvements programs over the last year. So if anybody else is interested in that program, please just reach out to either Mark or myself, and we will be happy to get you started and meet with you at your property to even talk you through some design suggestions. In addition to that, we also have a lot of other everyday services. So if you get nothing else out of this meeting, just listen. Just listen for the next minute, because I'm just going to run down what you can reach out to us for on a day-to-day basis. So in addition to the storefront improvement program, there's also a business security camera program. Like Mark said, we have that seminar coming up, so stay tuned for that. But you can also just reach out to us and we'll be happy to send you the application and meet with you to discuss that further. In addition to that, if you have trash issues, Mark already touched on our rapid response team. So please just reach out via email and we will get on top of that as soon as possible. I'm also on Facebook and regularly use Facebook for my job. Just find me, Kay Anderson. Many of you have, and feel free to just send me a message on Facebook and I will send our team out to address the situation as well. In addition to those things, we can also help with other blight issues, graffiti. Like Mark said, we have a graffiti removal service that we're going to be starting soon. In addition to that, you can always help call Clip or email us and we will get Clip on it as soon as possible. We do have a little bit more pull with Clip, so make sure that you let us know about it because we may be able to get a response there a little bit quicker. In addition to those things that we've already talked about, and I'm not going to go too deep into some of these things because this is Randy's territory, but we also have directories both online and in print. So if you have a business, make sure that you're listed and just reach out to us for that. Social media marketing, that's something that we do on an everyday basis. So if you have an event coming up or if you're new to the neighborhood, just reach out and we will share something about your business. Randy also has many ongoing campaigns, so she can speak more to those things later. And finally, join our newsletter. You'll see all of the resources in there. Oh, in addition to those things, we also have Find It in Fishtown Live. Forgot one thing, which is our weekly podcast program. So if you would like to be a guest, we like to share the stories of entrepreneurs, business owners, and residents here in Fishtown who are doing awesome things and talk about the neighborhood and why you chose Fishtown. So if you're interested in being on that program, again, just reach out. We also have some fun committees that are meant for our constituents to be able to engage and make decisions directly for us. So some of those committees that we have going on are our zoning committee. That committee is an RCO, so we do have meetings bi-weekly, so not twice a week, but once every 2 weeks, where we meet with zoning applicants, hear cases, and make decisions. Those are public, so if you would like to join our zoning committee, again, just reach out, we'll add you to that list. We also have a safety committee that regularly reviews safety stats. We've been talking about some safety statistics recently. So if you would like to join that email list, I can get you on that. And finally, our newest committee is a art committee, which we are exploring. And Lee, feel free to chime in here because I know that this is your brainchild as well. But one of the things that our neighborhood is known for is its art, its public art especially. So we felt it was necessary to create a public art committee, especially as we are doing all of these capital improvements from our master plan, in order to be able to have our constituents have a way to directly give feedback into the design and art that's going on to our streets. So that's what that committee is about. Lee, did you want to add anything there?
Very well said. I can't wait to get going.
Yeah, so if you're interested in joining that committee, like I said, it's brand new. We should be having our first meeting in the next couple of weeks. So that's it for me. Passing it back over to Mark.
Well done, Kay. Well done, Kay. By the way, if Kay ran this meeting, we would be done and finished by now. But it's, as we always say, we are in essence, Lisa, that's not nice. We are in essence the Fishtown Kensington Area Chamber of Commerce. If you need help with something, we can help you, whether it's getting through to L&I, getting a permit, whatever it may be. We're here to serve you, so call us. And you know, we just had an illegal car towed today with the help of the 26th and the PPA. That's the type of things we can do. Thank you, Bob, for applauding. That's better than Lisa's reaction. If we go back to the annual report, Rand, a couple quick things, and then we're going to get to your questions. So one of the things that was very important, I know for me, you know, in my background working in both the House of Representatives and City Council, was how we can work with our elected officials and, dare I say, advocate to bring about necessary change. Certainly during the pandemic, the issue of outdoor seating was a big issue certainly for us. We have a very world-renowned, thriving dining scene that was obviously hit very hard. And the issue of what we call cafe seating and streeteries was a very, very important issue. I was very lucky to be able to work with some very talented colleagues, to work with language that was ultimately used on the temporary regulations that allow the programs to happen. And what you saw was the same dedication that you all use in your buildings was the same dedication and quality that were used in these outdoor spaces. And what we all found was people loved them. And they didn't just love them because they couldn't go inside. They wanted to keep them. So we found something that we thought worked, and we were like, all right, well, how can we make sure that this stays in some way? And again, I want to thank, I don't know if they're on the call, I know Venice is here, but Council President Clark, Council Member Squilla, and Council Member Maria Quinona Sanchez for really delving into this issue, but making sure that they had our best interests at heart. So when it came time for the temporary to ultimately expire, which it will in the spring, permanent legislation was put through that put some good practical guidelines there, meaning in the type of the structure, the height, the type of equipment can be used, and the type of reporting that needs to be done. But the most important part was our work together with our elected officials ensured that the restaurants within the Fishtown, Kensington area bid would still be able to do that and follow the process to have this cafe seating and streeteries without the ability of having to go through an ordinance. So we're going to continue to monitor those to see how we can continue to improve on it. But, you know, I know a couple of folks that have those, like Paul Kimport, really dedicated a lot of time. Certainly the one that Mulherron's is gorgeous. And again, I think we led the way both in the quality and the ability to maintain that those continue for us in the future. So kudos to everybody. And we were very proud to be able to help in that regard. If you move down, this is one of my passion things. When I was in the House of Representatives, I was very fortunate to be able to serve on the Urban Affairs Committee and their work on legislation called Act 135, the Conservatorship Act. And then also actually I authored its amendments, House Bill 1363 of 2014. Basically, in a nutshell, the Conservatorship Act really deals with a very practical problem that every neighborhood faces, no matter where you are. You know, that one blighted vacant eyesore of an otherwise good block. How do we do something about it? Because the city of Philadelphia, with all the tools that it has, it unfortunately can't just take somebody's property. They can secure a lower level, they can issue violations. If taxes go around or not paid, it can go to a sheriff's sale, but that doesn't necessarily correct the blight and correct the problem. So this act allows groups such as ourselves to go to court to be appointed what we call a guardian of a property with the goal of fixing up and bringing this property back to productive use. The ultimate benefits are obvious. Blight is removed. Quality of life is improved, not just on that block, but in the neighborhood. Property values are improved. And we don't want to minimize this, the benefit for the city of Philadelphia or moving on. Liens are paid, taxes are paid, which I'll explain in a little bit. And now you have a new owner. So now you have a continuous person preserving the property, living in the property or utilizing the property, and also giving a continuing tax base. So this act allows a group like ours to be appointed, fix it up, and ultimately produce it for an out sale. In this particular case, I'm proud to say that I'm sure many of you know the property, and we've certainly discussed it over the past year. 401-05 East Girard Avenue, the old Mission Brotherhood property. That property has been vacant since 2018. Through our investigations, that nonprofit was defunct, as declared by the Pennsylvania Attorney General. And we've done a diligent search. We thank Venice for her help on trying to locate anybody with the Brotherhood. One of the big things about it is, and you can see the L&I sticker or orange sticker on the door, is the problems the neighbors face. The roof was torn apart and people were constantly breaking in it to sleep, to steal fixtures. I had the pleasure, I put that in air quotes, of going inside it recently. One of the several times we've had to secure it. And it's the words and smells were indescribable. So on November 15th, 2021, Judge Ann Butchart of the Court of Common Pleas of Philadelphia County approved our petition to be appointed conservator of this property. In fact, we have a court date tomorrow. So the next steps you are going to see with the bid, and our good friend, my good friend and colleague Ryan Spack is on the call from the Spack Group. The Spack Group was, he's a great developer that is really conscientious about the neighborhood. And we're working with him with a plan to take this property, keep and preserve the existing structure. In fact, we found a picture from the 1950s of what that property looked like. We're going to restore it to that so that we can have ultimately, we can have that property become have a thriving commercial space on the downstairs and 12 residential units above, with at least 4 of them being affordable units so that people can actually afford to live here. That is a concept that that Mr. Spack, Ryan, you want to say a quick hello?
Sure, happy to do so. Thank you for having me.
And Ryan's got the best head of hair of anyone I ever met, but he also brought to us, I also want to thank Josh and his company for getting the plan together and getting the that we needed for the conservatorship. We have a lot of talented people here, but in working with Ryan, why it was important to bring him in, and we're also going to be using just private monies so that we're not taking loans or anything like that, is that we wanted to make sure we created a space using all the bonuses that we could, the roof bonuses, et cetera, but ensure affordability. Once we are in a process where we're ready to start the clean out, we will make sure well before any possible zoning issues come up, we will hold a series of meetings where we can go into the particular of the planning, what's coming, what you could see and get everybody's input. But I want to thank everybody that's involved, with Shirley Turco, Josh and Elk Street Management, Ryan, the courts, the neighbors, everybody, because this was really a community passion play. And we're so proud to be able to take something and create the change that we want to see. And this allows us to revitalize and help enhance another part of the corridor. And hopefully that will stimulate even more growth. If you see properties like this that you think may be in need of this type of attention, please call us. We would love to look into it and see if we can't move that forward. But we're looking forward to what we can produce. Lastly, if you move down, Rand, we always try to do things that maybe no other bid does. And in some ways, yes, even to save you money. So we developed a Fishtown District insurance benefits package with Goldmark benefits. I know we had a couple seminars of that during the year, where for your business or your family, if you know, especially your business, if he was able to find you a better affordable insurance plan and you use him, any savings would go to the bid so that we can actually lower your assessment, would go towards assessment relief. Several of our properties have already done that. The information is, as you can see in the annual report. You can contact me, or you can contact Mark at Goldmark Benefits directly. I use him, and I will tell you, he is a genius at finding what fits you, your staff, your company, your family. We urge it, but again, we want to make sure, again, you're paying into this. We want to provide a service to you, and no other bid can say that they have their own insurance plan. So we're very proud of that. Go down, Randy. There's our radio show. There's, you can see I think that was our first one, actually, in the picture there. It's on WWDB 860 AM from 8 to 9 in the morning. We also podcast it and live stream it on Fishtown District on Facebook. And really the goal of that was very simple. Besides that Kay and I have a good time, the focus of it is what makes our corridor special, the people in it. And it's the stories that you all have that got you here that what makes it. And we're very proud of that. I hope you tune in. Part of what we wanted to make sure we did is being part of making sure that we're filling spaces, is having commercial real estate open houses that were virtual, at least as of now. And basically we're bringing together developers and property owners with prospective tenants or buyers that they can display their properties, they can show what their inventory is, and people that are looking can find. And as a result of that, we've actually been able to pair people to spaces. For example, Kismet Bagels, right, which is going to be right next to Pizza Shack and Maxon. So we will be in the process. Hopefully, we would love to do one live where we could start in our office and then go to different properties that are being shown. But till then, stay tuned for our next one. You can see the Fishtown District York Street Circle opened up. We're going to be working with both the city on possible placing some sort of art use there, and also bike use and other events there. But it really gives us some opportunities. Lastly, I'm going to turn it to Randy, who will be very fast, to talk a little bit about both the directory maps and also a little bit of show you a little commercial we did. So Randy Sherwood, you're on.
Okay. So this year, we found that cross-promoting the businesses was something that we felt really strongly about, but having like a single directory didn't seem to fit the bill. So we came up with 4 different directories, which include all of the businesses that are currently open in the bid, broken down by eat and stay, health and wellness, services, and retail. And this way people could grab one, go, oh, I'm looking for another dress shop, or I'm looking for another furniture store, and they could go and look for similar businesses on the map. They're available in all of the locations throughout the bid, as well as in our Fishtown District office. They're similar. We have them on our website. We also have a directory on our website where you can search by category. And all of the businesses that are on the directory are also on the online directory on our website. And then, let's see, sorry, go back to the home page. We also created this year a video, which we wanted to use in lots of different ways to introduce people to what was included in the bid, what made us different. So we worked with a local company, Circle Square Studios, there in Fishtown, and they created this video.
Rand, is the volume up?
Yeah.
That was Fishtown. Frankfurt Avenue is an arts corridor, and I thought it would be really cool to have comics, graphic, and sequential art represented on an arts corridor.
There are several galleries that have happened over the last few years. A lot of good restaurants have popped up. Seeing concerts, beer gardens, and bars.
Anybody who comes to their first order should be a fish bowl. You know you're going to have a wild night.
Every time you come, there's something new and different to do.
Fishtown's walkable, creative, full of exciting and unknown experiences.
This is by far the most tight-knit neighborhoods in Philly. Welcome to Fishtown. Welcome to Fishtown.
Welcome to Fishtown.
I don't know if I couldn't really hear it, but.
Sorry, it was very loud in my ears. Couldn't.
No, but I hope we've been able to use that throughout, and really they really did a great job and really highlighted a variety of our different stakeholders here and the different personality of the neighborhood. So
it's on the homepage of our website.
Thank you, Randy. So to finish, and I'm not going to go through it all, we certainly are not lacking in making news in our district. And in the annual report, you're going to see all the different times where, I'm sorry, it's not even all, it's sort of a sampling of the different times where all of you were ready for your close-up on the news with national, local, et cetera, the different openings that we had, really the different unique things that makes us us. And even if you go down a little bit, we are a place where celebrities go. So this year, at Harriet's Bookshop, and we love Janine. In fact, I don't know if Janine Cook is on. She's a new member of the BIDS advisory committee, so we welcome her. Will Smith was a guest of only 200 of our best friends in the district. Philadelphia legend Kevin Hart was here. And that's just a normal part of what you see in our district. And as you see in some of the highlights, just some of the different things that we've done, scheduling trash collection days when we needed it. Spring cleanup, we did a massive one in the neighborhood with law enforcement, with I think 50 SEPTA staff members, including the general manager of SEPTA. And it really, I think it was probably one of the most well-attended spring cleanups the city had this year. And it really just, the Rivers Casino, never want to forget them, or PDAC. It was really a true community affair. And then lastly, as we finish with the holidays, we wanted to make sure not only were we doing an event that brought people out and brought attention on us and all of you, we also did, I think we did even another holiday video, and we did an ad campaign on B101, which is of course, the juggernaut of all things Christmas, where we sponsored the Santa tracker. So if you were checking in where Santa was, you heard the Fishtown district. And it was to urge people to come do the Christmas shopping here, go enjoy Christmas dinner here. And I really think that it helped. And it was nice to all of you who had heard it were calling or texting me at all hours. I just heard our ad, but it's our way really of rewarding and highlighting all of the hard work that you do. Lastly, but we always have to get to the economics. If you want to make sure you check both our IRS 990 or our audit, that can be found also on the website. Everything is transparent. Please take a look and ask them a question. Certainly, we will make sure the new 2022 assessments have gone out. If you have any questions, please contact Kay and I. We're happy to work with you. Again, we like to always finish with how much trash we collected. It's actually more than that. It was over 11,000 bags of trash. And I want to give Josh another shout out, Josh Alivo. Josh's business, Close at Hand Innovations, does some great work in green spaces and planting. So we knew our office needed to have a little bit of oomph, and he and his staff created this beautiful floral display with planters outside that they maintain. We urge all of you as we move forward, and hopefully we'll be bringing more greening to different parts of the corridor. Give Close at Hand Innovations a call. They will take great care of you. And with that shameless plug, before we get to questions, we have a board election this year. 4 people are up for re-election. I want them to at least be able to say a quick few words and about themselves and why you should vote for them. Kay will then Kay or Randy will tell you how you can vote when they're done. We have to start with ladies first, and of course we're talking about the lovely and talented Janae Green from St. Lazarus Bar.
Hi.
You weren't ready for that, were you?
I was ready. It's just I have someone who doesn't want to eat dinner at the same time. So yes, I'm Janae, St. Lazarus Bar. I'm also a committee person for the 18th ward of our district over here. And yeah, I've been a part of the Fishtown District Board. Also was a part of the Fishtown board for a little bit. And I hope that you guys like what we've been doing lately, and I hope to continue the work efforts that I've been doing with everybody else in our team.
Thank you, Janae. Next, Lee Stutzel. Lee, the Art King.
Hi, everybody. I would be excited to continue on the board. We are just forming the art committee, as you heard earlier. I've been working in this business for 25 years, and we're looking to bring our museum project to Frankfurt and Girard and offer a free museum to the public there, and hopefully increase some day traffic on the corridor and give a little balance to the nightlife. And can't wait to be working in the neighborhood in the next couple of years. We expect to start on our project this summer, building and renovating 1115 to 37 Frankfurt Ave. So anyway, thank you very much.
Thank you, Lee, and thank you, Janae, for all that you do. Is Skip on the call, Skip Schwartzman? If not, I will speak for him.
I don't believe that he is.
Yeah, I don't think he or Mano. So Skip Schwartzman is owner of Feast Catering. Skip has been an integral part of the bid and Fishtown Co. and the neighborhood for many, many years. He brings a valuable business acumen to the board, a very practical point of view. I know Skip was busy today because they have a consultant in all day on some work. We're just thrilled that the catering world has opened up again, and Skip is now super busy, but he's also one that really gives back. So we hope that you'll look into him and consider Skip. And lastly, I also believe Matt is not on the call. Matt Ricciardi, General Manager of the Fillmore and Punchline. Matt has also was active in the creation of the bid and been part of the bid board. But one of the wonderful things about Matt and the Fillmore is they're very community oriented. They will go out of their way, whether it's to host coat drives, blood drives, Toys for Tots, you name it. They will do it. They are also, I'm very proud to say, we will find out for sure tomorrow, the city of Philadelphia offers a CDC tax credit. And that means that a company can decide to divert its business income and receipts tax, BIRT taxes, up to $100,000 a year for 10 years to a community organization. Live Nation and Matt led the way that they agreed to do that with us. So we filed our application and we will get the final word tomorrow. But, you know, think about that. That will bring us, instead of they're paying their taxes, they just send us a check each year. And it's an extra $100,000 for 10 years that we can then spend on all of you. And that's really what the money is for, to bring different resources and tools to all of you. So those are the four. Randy, can you, I know you just pulled it up. Can you tell people how they can vote? We will keep this up until Monday at 5 p.m.
So if you go to fishtowndistrict.com, right on our navigation, you can see under Fishtown News, the first one is Fishtown District Board nominees and voting. You simply go there, come to this page, and you can vote for our we have 4 board positions open and 4 nominees. So pretty simple. Go ahead and vote for all 4 and send it away. Mark, real quick, can you just explain who's eligible to vote?
Oh, I want to be very clear. Thank you. Thank you for that, Randy. So under our ordinance and bylaws, you either have to be a property owner within the geographic parameters of the bid or the owner of a business that is in the geographic parameters of the bid. That is who can vote. So while we value the resident input, this is the one time that's who's allowed to vote. So when you see it posted, you know to make sure to do that. But again, Monday at 5 p.m. is the deadline. I think we know who's going to win, but then we'll post the results. Thank you for that, Randy. And we made it in an hour and a half. That's short for me. But I'd like to open it up. So if you can, if you have a question, raise your hand. And we're happy to call on you before we let you all go home and enjoy your dinner. Or at least that's what I'm going to do. Come on, Yasmin. I know you have a question. I'm teasing, of course.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I really appreciate this, and I have really just more comments. Thanks so much for everything that everyone is doing. I'm actually calling here in New York City. I wish I am going to be in Fishtown tomorrow, but yeah, I just love. I love the videos. I love the website. There's just so many things. This is my first meeting with everybody here today, so it's super interesting how much has developed since I've been there since 2014. So yeah, I just appreciate everything, and you guys are doing a great job. Thank you for everything.
Thank you, Yasmin. I didn't mean to put you on the spot, but Yasmin has always been a big help, and the work they do at La Colombe, and they're an integral part of the neighborhood. So always want to make sure everyone gets their shout outs, which you all deserve. Anybody else?
Lisa has her hand raised.
Go ahead, Lisa.
Thanks, Mark. Randy, can you just tell us again how you vote? Because of course it took me that long just to figure out how to get onto the website on my phone. So just tell me again.
So yeah, so on the navigation, which on the mobile, it's like a 3 lines. And if you click on that, on the navigation under Fishtown News.
Okay, all right.
It's the first one.
Voting, got it. Oh, awesome. Thank you so much.
My
Thanks.
pleasure.
Sometimes, you have to go slower for the older folks.
Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, Randy. Sarah?
Hey, thanks. So my question is about reporting like either dumping or various other visual like mess situations. Just to be clear, we should be emailing Kay when that's a problem. And do you just want that if that's along like Frankfurt and Girard or anywhere in Fishtown?
We'll help you with everything. We'll help the whole neighborhood. So you can email me or Kay, and we'll get it out quickly. What we like to do listen, we'll make the formal 311 complaint so there's a record, but then we'll call the folks that we know over, whether it's Clips, Streets, whomever, to get someone there. So please, yes, for one of the things we want to make sure we are in this together. That's why we want to do things with you. So yes, even though we service the neighborhood, we are here to help outside of our geographic parameters. So anything you got, Sarah, will help.
Great, thank you.
Just ask Bob. That's what he does to me at 1 a.m. when I get a ring on my phone. That's why I love you, Bob.
It was 10:58.
I know, it's late. I'm dead asleep by then. Anybody else? I can go on doing shtick for hours, but I think you have better things to do. I again want to thank our board, our current board. Many of them are on here listen, they were doing this long before I got here, making this neighborhood what it is. And I want to thank all of them for bringing me here and the work we're doing together and the work we're going to do together. As Lisa yawns, I love her. And I want to thank all the great people that I've met since I've been here. It really is even better than I expected when I had the opportunity to come here. So that's my story, and I appreciate all of you. So I want to have one more round of questions, and then I'm going to adjourn. Seeing none, thank you again, everybody. Again, if you need to reach us, Mark, M-A-R-C at fishtownbid.org or K-A-E at fishtownbid.org. We'll bother Randy if we need to. Thank you all. Have a great evening and look forward to 2022.
Thanks, Mark. Bye, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks,
Bye.
Mark. Thanks, Mark.
Bye.